Hello and welcome back to Solid, the show where we appreciate the football nerds. We do. We appreciate them. But at the end of the day, we're all just concussion uncles. We like a wide zone run. We like that. I think that's very smart. Stretching a defensive line horizontally is very smart. It's very good. But a trap that gets me bricked up. My name is Jake. Thank you guys very much for joining me today. It's Thursday, August 27th. Those are those two numbers. 2-7 is the 27th. We're going to keep it going with our divisional little preseason, offseason recap. Our breakdowns is what we're doing. In case you forget, we're doing one show for each, or doing two shows for each division. Sorry, one show is the positives of everything that they did in the offseason, and then one is the negatives. The much more fun show, I should say, is the one where we do the negatives, where we talk about everything that they did in the offseason. Not everything. I broke it down into three things. Three things that each team did in the offseason that's going to end up negative for them. And this one is the AFC East, and we're doing the negatives. Going in descending order from how the teams finished last year. So we're doing Patriots, Bills, Dolphins, and then Jets. Starting with the Patriots. Ended the season 14-3, lost in the Super Bowl. We all know what happened. One big thing that they did this year, and this was on my positives, but it's also a big negative too, and I think it's more probable that this is going to be a negative thing, is that they signed Elijah Vera Tucker in free agency. Elijah Vera Tucker, he's a good guard. He's a good guard when he's healthy. And that's just not the case. He's just an injured guy. Injury bug, soft-boned, weak, tendoned, whatever you want to say, that's Elijah Vera Tucker. Drafted in 2021 by the Jets. He's played in 43 out of a possible 85 games. Injuries that he's had, I think it went tricep, Achilles, tricep is how it went. So he missed the entirety of the 2025 season with an Achilles. And then you get it. The guy's hurt all the time. And it's really the bigger problem with this is just what happens if when he does go down, because it's going to be mayhem. It's going to be that Patriots offensive line is just going to turn to shit. All right, so if he goes down, we know that he's left guard. All right, that he's going to be their left guard, and their left tackle is Will Campbell. All right, and Will Campbell did fine during the regular season last year. Got hurt. Sprained or strained something in his knee, one of the blank CLs. Came back in the postseason and played like shit there. I don't know if Will Campbell is good. I'm sure he's good. I don't know if Will Campbell is going to be some long-term starting left tackle for the Patriots. I don't know if anybody really does, or if they do know, if they really believe it. I think he's good. But we've seen what happens when his play turns to shit, and it turns into Drake May getting sacked a record 21 times in the postseason, which is a record that will never be broken again. Wade Wilson set the record. I think it was in like 1984 for the Vikings, 1987 maybe for the Vikings. He got sacked 14 times in the postseason. And then he held that record until 2021 when Joe Burrow broke it with 17 sacks. And then Drake May, 4 years later, 21. You don't get sacked that many times if you're going to the Super Bowl. So anyway, the offensive line, when it's bad, it's real bad. And if Elijah Vera Tucker goes down, like Will Campbell's going to need that help next to him. If Elijah Vera Tucker goes down, there's a couple things that they could do. They could go to their depth at left guard, or and I think that'd be Mekhi Butler, I believe is who their second guy would be. I could be wrong with that. Or they could slide Will Campbell over to left guard, which would mean if they did that, that would probably be Caleb Lomu, who was their first round pick this year. He's a project guy. There's a reason that he's not starting. It's Morgan Moses who, how old is Morgan Moses? Good God. He's been in the NFL for 13 seasons. He's 36 years old. So he ain't a spring chicken either. It's not great. So it would be Caleb Lomu probably who goes over to the left tackle, unless maybe they know something. They do, obviously. We don't know what we don't know. Maybe somebody else goes in a left tackle. Regardless, it would be chaos on the left side of that line, and things would go to shit. It's just that's as plain as that's as simple as it is. It's not just Elijah Vera Tucker going down and them losing talent at the left guard, and then the interior of that offensive line being jeopardized. It's that if he goes down, everything's fucked. That's a big bomb. Yeah, I don't know. If he's healthy, great. Probably one of the best signings of the entirety of free agency this year. When he goes down, if he goes down, they're going to look like a bunch of real ding dongs. The second thing that I think is going to go wrong for them, and maybe this, I don't know. When they signed Romeo Doubs, some people like Romeo Doubs. Some people do like him. He was the most productive wide receiver in Green Bay last year. In case you don't know, Romeo Doubs, he's the one that has a big old Guardian cap that he plays with. Like Guardian caps are big, but Romeo Doubs is like 4 times bigger than everybody else's. Looks like a bobblehead. He was the most productive wide receiver at Green Bay last year, and that's good. I mean, it's a very functional offense. But him being the most productive wide receiver there, he played in what, 6 more games than Christian Watson, I think. I think Romeo Doubs played in 16 and Christian Watson only played in 10. So I mean, it's not like it's not like everything was equal for all the wide receivers there. I mean, he did do better than like Jalen Reed and Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed, sorry, and Dontavian Wicks. But I don't know. Some people like him, and I'm fine with that. You can like whoever you want to like. I don't like him. He's a big dropped ball guy. He's a big dropped catch guy. It was better last year in 2025. He only dropped 3% of his passes, which is a huge upgrade because in his first 3 seasons, being, what would that be, 22, 23, and 24, he averaged a dropped catch rate of or dropped ball rate of 9.4%. And I think it was up. I think his rookie season is like 13%. But to put that in perspective, that 9.4 just last year, that would have made him tied for 8th for the highest dropped ball percentage for wide receivers. So that's where he was at, and that's just putting it in perspective of last year. I think that would have been equal with Jerry Jeudy as who he'd have been tied at 8th with. So big dropped ball guy. And when it comes to catching balls from Drake May, I think that's going to look particularly bad. If we're averaging 9.4% and then it drops down to 3%, I look at the 3%. I'm like, that seems like that could be an outlier. I don't think it's going to get up to that 9.4, but I think it'll be substantial, and I think it's going to make a lot of people angry. They signed him for 4 years for $68 million. 39 of that was guaranteed. 39 million of that is guaranteed. It's not Wan'Dale Robinson. The Titans signed him on a 4-year deal for $70 million, so $2 million more total, and $38 million of Wan'Dale Robinson's is guaranteed. So it's more overall, less guarantee. They're not the same wide receiver. They're not. They have different roles. But I just think that if you're looking for, I also believe that this A.J. Brown trade that they did on the second day of June, whatever it was, I think that had been set in. I think they planned that during that Howie Roseman and Elliott Wolf, the Eagles GM and the Patriots GM. I think they agreed on that at the combine or so long time ago. I think if you're looking for a wide receiver too to be next to A.J. Brown, I think that there were better options available. I'm just not a big Romeo Doubs guy. Again, some people are. I don't blame them. When he's good, he's good. It's just not. I think they could have done better. But they also did get A.J. Brown, so who really gives a shit? The third thing that I think is going to go bad for them and I'm just saying this because this is a recent thing. So we know that I think it was last Friday, maybe. Jaden Higgins, wide receiver two in Houston, tears his ACL. He's out for the entire season. So in the Texans, we're not going to be able to go into a season with it just being Nico Collins, and then maybe Tank Dell can still play football as the two like wide receivers. They still do have Dalton Schultz there and everything. So, but they weren't going to be able to just be like Nico Collins and hopefully Tank Dell's knee it isn't the size of a cantaloupe every single day. So they traded the Texans traded Jalen Reed. He was he's a defensive back is the best way to say it for the Texans, which is a really good defense. If you want to trade for a defender, trading for a guy from Houston is a good idea. But he's like a nickel safety corner. He's just a defensive back. He only played a handful of snaps last year, a handful of games last year when Jalen Petrie was out with a concussion. But he's a good ball player. So the Patriots got him, but they traded Kayshon Boutte to Houston, and Kayshon Boutte he's good at what he does, and he's a good deep ball guy, big time deep ball guy, and now the Patriots just don't have that kind of guy on their roster anymore. I know, like Matt Collins can be that kind of guy, but he's not Kayshon Boutte. He's an older dog. Kayshon Boutte's a younger cat and faster. Kayshon Boutte's just a better overall receiver, I think, than Matt Collins. It's not really fair because they're, again, two different types of receivers. But the Patriots just don't have this guy anymore. And I know there's the idea of getting using AJ Brown. I mean, AJ Brown is a great receiver and he can stretch the field, and he doesn't really have to be fast in order to stretch the field just because he has that kind of gravity around him. But man, it would sure be cool if you wanted to just do some kind of vertical stretch of the offense and you were able to take some guy deep, have a wide receiver that actually threatens deep for the back layer on that vertical stretch, and then have AJ be the second layer. I don't think you probably could have traded Matt Collins. I probably could have. I don't know what his contract looks like. It's just I think that this is going to be something that they're going to regret, because now it's AJ Brown, Romeo Doubs, Pop Douglas, Matt Collins. It's going into year 10. Holy fuck! And then Kyle Williams is another one of there is another slot behind Pop Douglas. I don't know. It's maybe Kyle Williams will be able to be some kind of deep guy. Out of the slot, it just isn't. It's not exactly. I guess that's what Kayshon Boutte was doing. It seems like this might be a regrettable one. It seems like there's going to be a time during the season this year where we're watching the Patriots and be like, man, it'd be really cool if they had something to run scissors with AJ. It seems like that'd be a really good thing. But they don't have that guy anymore. So unless, again, Kyle Williams could turn into that. Kyle Williams has been doing pretty good this preseason, this offseason. Okay, so that's the Patriots. Going on to the Bills. Bills season ended. They were 12-5 last year. Lost to the Broncos in the divisional round of the playoffs. Big bad thing that I think that they did, and I think this is a thing that's going to hurt them not just now but in the future too, is keeping Brandon Beane as their GM. Not just keeping him, but promoting him to the president of football operations. And it's very funny how both bad and dumb, and how he is, and then how dumb he thinks that we are. Because I don't know if you remember this. It was when he did one of his first press conferences of the off season back in the spring. The reporters were asking me so what do you think about all these guys saying that? What do you think about people on the internet saying that you are conniving? What about the people that think that you kind of rigged this whole thing so that you got a promotion and the guy that was also battling you for power got fired? Which I believe Sean McDermott should have got fired too. Don't get me wrong there. But then Brandon Beane was like, we see all that. My wife sees that, she cries because she doesn't like me getting getting thrown around like that. It's like, well, buddy, it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, might be a duck, but it sure does seem like you really, really kind of fuck the system here in order to make more money, bud. It's very dumb. He's the whole thing is that this is the guy who's been building the team around Josh Allen, and he's been doing, for the most part, a pretty bad job. This is Josh Allen's a generational talent, and this is a team that just can't get it done. And there is the 13-second thing, and now stuff is coming out about Sean McDermott being kind of the dickhead that decided to not do a squib kick and allow the Chiefs to have that time. So, talking about roster construction wise, we see teams all the time. You see fucking Patriots right now. They're building this pass. Getting AJ Brown in that offense is going to legit. That's like franchise changing talent. And when the Bills got Stephon Diggs, they were right there. Stephon Diggs in his prime was he was awesome. And then Stephon Diggs goes, and they just haven't done anything. And it's from the draft too. You look back at these draft picks that Brandon Beane does. So he's done this 2 of the last 3 years where he's trading out of the first round and getting more picks, but then those picks aren't turning into anything. Like he did it in 2024 where they traded out of the first round and the Chiefs ended up getting Xavier Worthy, and then the Bills traded back again with the Panthers and got Keon Coleman with the first pick in the second round. He stinks. And they ended up getting like what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys in that. And Cole Bishop, Ray Davis. It's just like not. It just keeps going back. I mean, Dalton Kincaid in the first round in 2023 was good. That was, and I'll get to this in a second. But O'Cyrus Torrance, yeah, getting him in the second round. He's a good ball player, so that's 2 there. James Cook, they got him at the very end of the second round in 2022. It's a tough one to say that he fell to them because they did trade back a couple times and ended up getting him. Terrell Bernard, Khalil Shakir. It's Christian Benford's been with them for a long time. So that 2022 draft was good. Greg Rousseau is I like Greg Rousseau. He just hasn't necessarily been what you would want a first round pick to be. DeMar Hamlin in 2021, AJ Epinesa in 2020 in the second round there. Gabe Davis. It's just, you just keep going back. Ed Oliver's good ball player, but hasn't really like been what you want Ed Oliver to be. 4 guys of their 8 guys that they drafted in 2019 aren't playing, and 2018 is Josh Allen, Tremaine Edmonds. In 2017 is Tre'Davious White. He's still there. I don't know. You get what I mean. It's just he has not done a great job building this roster of very talented people around a very talented quarterback. And the idea is like, oh my God, yeah, it's Josh Allen. He shouldn't need talented people. You know what would really fucking help him though is if he did. And we saw what happened when he did when he had Stephon Diggs. It's like if you got, it doesn't have to it doesn't have to be just him. But Brandon Beane made some deal with the devil, and now he can only add one guy, one playmaker, one weapon for Josh Allen to the team every single year. And that's where the second thing, that bad thing that they did, the only weapon they gave Josh Allen was DJ Moore this year, and they traded a second round pick and maybe a couple other things to the Bears for him. And listen, DJ Moore is a good football player. He's older now. He's just not the spot that I would say DJ Moore lacks the most is his route running. And he's again 29. He's not going to get better at route running. He's not going to develop into some savant that creates unbelievable separation by being like a technician or anything like. We know what DJ Moore is. And yeah, he's going to be good. Like, he's going to probably get 65 catches and 1,100 yards this year, maybe 1,000 yards. I think his over-under on his yards for the season is 824.5. Hammer the over there. I think it's like minus 115. You might even be able to alter that line. I don't know if that's possible, but if you can, do it, because he's going to go the fuck off. I think I talked about this on the positives. Whenever Josh Allen has a good wide receiver one, they rock. But it's deep. Like, going back to the A.J. Brown thing, why were they not in the conversation with that? Like, A.J. Brown didn't have a no-trade clause. Like, the Eagles could have traded A.J. Brown to the Bills if the Bills had been interested. You know what I mean? Like, since 2023, since now Stephon Diggs' thing, like, his whole situation was weird because it's not like his contract ran out. But in Stephon Diggs last year, like I said, they got Dalton Kincaid was the one piece that they added that year. And then in 2024, it was Keon Coleman. Big fart. And then 2025 was Josh Palmer, hurt, also big fart. And then now DJ Moore. It's just, why not help? Why not help him? You know how much fun it would be to see? You remember? Not even do you know how much fun? Do you remember how much fun it was to see Josh Allen throw to Stephon Diggs? Fucking help him, man. What are you doing? It's so dumb. And then I'm gonna make it to the Super Bowl, and it's gonna be just another wasted season of him. And it's like, what are you fucking doing, man? I don't know. What a stupid idiot that Brandon Beane. Do more. What is their over the cap wasn't working for me very well earlier. What is their cap space right now? I'm getting a blue circle. Maybe that'll pull up at some point. I'll go back to that if it maybe cap space. Bills, Bills 10.8 million. That is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So that's the seventh lowest. So yeah, that's the 25th fewest. You guys understand numbers. I don't know. It's dumb. Maybe they do something. Probably won't. Like Jalen Waddle. I guess Jalen Waddle wasn't going to go from the Dolphins to the Bills, but actually, you know what? There was talk about that at the trade deadline last year. It's like, especially when last year the big problem with one of the big problems with their passing game is that their wide receivers weren't getting separation. Like, what do you? Why not get somebody who can? You know, it's not. I would be a good GM. That's the dumbest thing I'll ever say. I would be a good GM. That'd be, again, very dumb. But like I would, if I was a GM, what I would do is I would get good players, and I would get multiple of them. That's what I would do. Third thing, David Edwards left. He was their left guard last year. He had been their left guard since 2023, playing next to Deion Dawkins. Between him and Connor McGovern, he's gone. He was good left tackle. He was never like or not left tackle, left guard. He was never like a all-pro kind of guy, but that left side of that line, the left side of the Bills offensive line was good, man. It was their offensive line is good. They just blocked for the guy for James Cook who won the rushing title. Like, it's a good offensive line. And David Edwards left. He went to New Orleans in free agency, and they didn't really do a lot to backfill him. They did pick up Austin Corbett in free agency. Was he the one? Did he come from Austin Corbett? He either came from the Panthers or the Titans. I can't remember which one he came from. But he's just an old dog. He's got a lot of experience. He ended up losing the camp competition, the position battle, to Alec Anderson. Alec Anderson, he's been a practice squad guy, but he's younger. And he's like been a spot starter. Not blowing my mind, Alec Anderson. But I think that this could be a big problem. Because last year, and I guess last year was with David Edwards. It would have been. I guess my point is, it would have been nice if they would have gone at like for Isaac Seumalo or something like that. Somebody that is much better than Alec Anderson. Spend some fucking money, guys. Which I guess they have, but you got more money to spend. Josh Allen has like historically, like not like holy shit, this is like historical, but like in the past, he's been a good quarterback under pressure. But it was gross. It was gross last year. Of the quarterbacks, of the 5 quarterbacks who had the best passer rating, now just passer rating and just under pressure. So the 5 best quarterbacks with the 5 quarterbacks with the best passer rating while they're under pressure. That is Drake May, Joe Burrow, Daniel Jones, Josh Allen, and Kirk Cousins in that order. Josh Allen had the worst completion per drop back percentage. Now, not just completion percentage, because that is only when he throws the ball, and especially when we're talking under pressure, that's when you get sacked. So I do drop back for that because that's an actual passing play. But he had the worst completion per drop back percentage of those 5 guys, and it was by kind of a lot. So Drake May, his completion per drop back, his percentage was 42%. Joe Burrow was 44%. Daniel Jones was 45%. Kirk Cousins, who was in 5th place, 43%. So those are all mid to lower 40s. Josh Allen was 34%. So almost 10% lower than the other guys. Again, that has to also do with his wide receivers not getting separation and everything like that, but getting Josh Allen out of pressure, or making sure that it's not effective pressure, because that's the whole thing with pressure, is that if a guy's in the backfield, that can kind of count as pressure. It's dumb. That's why I like the quarterback hits and knockdowns and sacks and everything like that rather than pressure. But making sure that pressure is not effective, especially coming from the interior of a defensive line, the shortest path to a quarterback, not letting Josh Allen have to go scramble out and then do his goddamn fucking intentional grounding bullshit, and where it's if they could shore up the interior of that defensive line, which I don't believe that they did effectively, that would make things a whole lot smoother for this offense. And I think not backfilling David Edwards is not properly backfilling David Edwards' spot. I think that's going to be a kick in the dick. Okay. That's the top 2 teams in the AFC East. And that's the tough thing about the AFC East, is that the top 2 are fucking contenders, man. They are the contenderiest of contenders. And then the other 2 teams in the AFC East, the Dolphins and the Jets, are dog shit teams that hit the reset button, that are going to be bad, and they're incentivized to be bad. So I honestly, hand up, I have not paid a whole lot of attention to things that the Dolphins and the Jets have done this offseason, because it doesn't matter, really. For the next calendar year, for the next 6 months, it doesn't matter what the Jets and the Dolphins do. Although it does kind of matter, because whoever is worse is going to get, you guys got to get a better dry stock. But I haven't paid attention to them a whole lot. But the Dolphins ended the season 7-10. One big thing that I think was dumb, and it's kind of a mix between 2 things that I think were good for them. But you combine those 2 things and it's bad. And that is a combination of both getting Malik Willis, paying him money, and then also trading away Jalen Waddle. Both of those things are good. Putting them together, what the fuck are we doing? How are you going to grade Malik Willis? How could you possibly grade Malik Willis when he's throwing to the likes of Jalen Tolbert, Caleb Douglas, Malik Washington, Jalen Reagor? God. They just traded Tutu Atwell away. Kevin Coleman, Chris Bell, Terrace Marshall Jr. I don't. Greg Dulcich is a tight end. I don't understand. Like, I get why you did it, but I don't get why you did both things. Why didn't they just do Quinn Ewers for another year? Quinn Ewers, last year was his rookie year, and he played the last 4 or 5 games, maybe fewer than that. They were dead by the time that he came in. Why not try him again? Trade for Tanner McKee. Trade for somebody that's on a rookie contract. Fucking Anthony Richardson's tugging off over in a corner in Indiana. Why? You probably could have traded a 5th-round pick to Indianapolis and just to see what the hell you can do with Anthony Richardson. It's not going to be good, but you could have. Instead, you're doing Malik Willis, and it's like I just don't get it. I just don't get it. That was it. You got rid of his only actual pass catcher. I guess Devon Achane is good at catching the ball in the backfield, but fuck, man. What do you want? What do you want him to do? What do you want Malik Willis to do? Like he's gonna have a bad time. Second bad thing that they did, they hired Kevin Patullo as their passing game coordinator. So Bobby Slowick is their offensive coordinator, and Kevin Patullo was spent just last entirely too long with the Eagles, and I don't know. I don't know. It's like what have you seen out of the Eagles passing offense aside from 2022? And I don't believe Kevin Patullo was the passing game coordinator. I think he was a quarterbacks coach in 2022. Like what are you seeing out of this guy where you're like, that's a passing game that we need to emulate? It's like, no, they're just going to do fucking ISO routes and just do hitches at a historic rate. Maybe that'll work with these guys. No, I don't fucking know. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know what the hell Miami's doing. And hiring Kevin Patullo and Jalen Reagor, just garbage. Just absolute garbage. What a dumb. You know what? I don't feel sorry for the Dolphins. You fucking deserve this. You deserve this. Don't hire Kevin Patullo. You just got laughed out of Philadelphia. What do you, you're so dumb. You're so dumb. And then also they hired Jeff Hafley. I talked about this in the positives. It was good. My positive with Jeff Hafley was that they hit the reset button. That's a good thing. If you're going to hit it, smash it. Hit it with a hammer. But Jeff Hafley, some people like him. Again, kind of like a Romeo Doubs thing, which they're both from Green Bay. I don't like Jeff Hafley. I think that Jeff Hafley is a ding-dong. I think he's a real ding-dong. I think that Jeff Hafley is an absolute ding-dong. This all stems from that first game in 2024, and it's a first impressions are everything kind of a thing for me. That first that week 1 game in Brazil between the Packers and the Eagles ended the 2023 season getting just the shit kicked out of them by the Buccaneers because Todd Bowles just blitzed a fuckload, and it absolutely killed that offense. And Jalen Hurts was wildly ineffective. And going into that game, I was like, hey, if Jeff Hafley's smart, his first time being a DC in the NFL, if he's smart, if he's good at his job, he'll blitz the shit out of Jalen Hurts, because the last thing that we saw was him doing bad at that. It was him not doing good with that. So then Jeff Hafley obviously didn't do that. He didn't. And I'm like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot. And then also you go into last year and the drop off on that, the efficiency of that, the pressure rates and everything like that, getting to the quarterback, to sack numbers, pretty much the entire effectiveness of that Packers defense plummeted as soon as Micah Parsons got hurt. And that makes sense. You have a guy like Micah Parsons who's a cornerstone of a team that you just traded for and built this entire defense around. I guess they didn't build it around him because they traded for him real late in the offseason last year. But when that late in the season, when they've been playing and vibing and doing that well together, and a guy like that goes out, things are going to go worse. Absolutely, especially a generational talent like Micah Parsons. They shouldn't plummet. They shouldn't go to the depths of hell, which is what happened. And I'm thinking that if you're a good defensive guy, and obviously it's not this easy, but the general idea is that if you're a good defensive guy, you should be able to make things happen with less. If you're a good coach, you should be able to do more with less. You certainly shouldn't do significantly worse with less. Medium to good with less is what I want. Medium to not good with less. It's like, I don't know. I think he's dipshit. I think Jeff Hafley was dipshit. But good for Miami hiring a defensive head coach. That's cool. That worked out well last time. Okay, Jets ended the season 3-14. Everything was dog shit. I don't know if this is a negative, but I didn't I liked it. I liked the player. So the first thing that I have here is them drafting Kenyon Sadiq. Okay, and maybe I don't necessarily believe this. I like drafting Kenyon Sadiq. I think that's good. Kenyon Sadiq, freak of nature athlete, tight end, freak of nature athlete, jumping out of the fucking gym at the combine. They got him 16th overall, one of their 3 first-round picks. It was David Bailey, and then it was Kenyon Sadiq, and then it was Omar Cooper when they traded back into the first round. They Now this is pre roster cuts, but they currently have 6 tight ends on their roster. This is all pre-cut, so they're obviously going to get rid of those guys. But just last year they drafted Mason Taylor, I believe in the 2nd round. Let me make sure I'm right about that. Who's this? Jets. By the way, if you're looking for depth charts and you don't like doing RLADs because that website's poison, the2deep.com. Bingo, baby. It rocks, gives you so much more information. Mason Taylor was drafted in the 2nd round. I liked Mason Taylor. He didn't have a good year last year. Nobody on the Jets had a good year last year, so it's kind of hard. I would have liked, and also it was a rookie tight end, and rookie tight ends don't do good. So it's like most of the time, rookie tight ends don't do good, I should say. I liked him. I would have liked to see him develop, and then also, but getting a guy like Kenyon Sadiq, who, again, good football player, and he's going to help the team out, but he deserves more playing time than Mason Taylor. And then, but also you think about the meta of the NFL and offenses now is these 2 tight end things. Frank Reich is their offensive coordinator, and Frank Reich is a lot of things. He's a hero to me for the 2017 Eagles season. He's a hero to me. He's a good play caller. His play designs are, I guess he wouldn't, and he's been a good play caller, but his play designs they're not the meta. I don't see Frank Reich going out and doing 12 personnel with both Mason Taylor and Kenyon Sadiq on the field at the same time and having multiple plays out of the same look. I'm being very nice to Frank Reich now. I'm being very nice to Frank Reich right now. He's a hero. The man is a hero. He's not a fancy man. He's not a creative man. What he does good, he does good. The things that he does good in the year 2026 are not great, is my polite thing that I'm saying to Frank Reich. My point is, I think that Mason Taylor's development is going to get hindered, and it's the Jets, so it was always going to be hindered with Kenyon Sadiq. Again, love Kenyon Sadiq. Great pick. Great athlete. I think he's going to end up being awesome, but I kind of like Mason Taylor. Maybe the Eagles trade for him. That'd be cool. Okay. A second thing the Jets did that I think is dumb. They got a lot of guys in free agency. They got I think it was 25 guys in free agency is what I counted, but I was doing it on a computer screen and I was tapping the screen, so I might have counted wrong. But 25-ish guys. This number I know is for sure. 10 of them are 29 years or older, which is a lot. Geno Smith. Let's see if I can just pull this up. If I go to free agency tracker and then I go to NYJ and I go to NYJ, let's see. Geno Smith, 36. Minkah Fitzpatrick, still mind-boggling to me. Minkah Fitzpatrick's a Jet. 30. David Onyemata, 34. Demario Davis is 37 years old. Jason Sanders, 31. Tim Patrick, 33. Landon Young, 29. Andrew Beck, 30. Chukwuma Okorafor, 29. Michael Walker, 29. I don't know, man. Good ball players, like they're good-ish. They're good-ish, but ugh, that's old. That's old. I guess that does help if you're like, let's see if we can get an interception this year. Maybe we do that early in the season, and then by the end of the season, the entire roster falls apart at the joints, and then they get probably not an Arch Manning, but they get in the conversation. They have the picks to trade up in order to that. I don't know. It's a lot of old. It's a lot of old. I don't like old. I don't like old, especially when fucking 3 of those names are older than me. Good God. The last thing, they kept Aaron Glenn, and this just goes back to my rules that if you're bad at your job, you should get fired. Fire bad coaches. You don't want guys to be on thin ice. Should have fired Aaron Glenn because he's bad. He's bad at his job. He's a defensive coach, and again, it's been said a million times, 0 interceptions last year. Should have fired him. But yeah, again, I put much more thought into the Bills and the Patriots when I was doing this because they deserve more thought. And the Dolphins definitely don't deserve more thought because they're sabotaging themselves, which is good for them and not in the long run. But they're an entirely uninteresting team. They're a wildly uninteresting team who made bad hires and just ding dong decisions. And then the Jets. I think the Jets have been having a good offseason. Honestly, I kind of do. Like I like they're how the Dolphins are sabotaging themselves. It's like, oh, they're doing akimbo shotguns right in their own knees, whereas the Jets are kind of like they go on a smoke break and then to put the cigarette out, they do it on their arm and then they roll their sleeves down. So it's like the Dolphins, it's like, you guys have got to chill the fuck out. And then the Jets, it's like, huh. Okay. I see what you're doing. But okay, maybe don't. It's pretty gruesome what you're doing, but cool. And you're not making a scene about it. Yeah, you guys get it. You understand what I'm talking about. All right, so that's everything. That's the negatives for the AFC East. Just to recap, Patriots, Elijah Vera Tucker staying healthy. Not something I would have bet on, but they did. I'm not a Romeo Doubs guy. Kayshon Boutte, I think they're going to be missing out on that kind of a player this year. Bills keeping Brandon Beane and promoting him. And the second thing is them having to deal with his deal with Satan, where he gets all these jobs, but also he's shit at them. And that is the only weapon that they added for Josh Allen was DJ Moore, who I'm sure is going to have a good season. Not a franchise change. He's not the guy where you're like, that team is definitely going to make it deep in the postseason. And it's not all going to be on Josh Allen. Now, also DJ Moore, his good season is going to be more of a Josh Allen is fucking rocks throwing the ball to wide receivers rather than DJ Moore fucking rocks getting the ball thrown to him by Josh Allen, if that makes sense. I think it did. And then the third thing that I think the Bills did is that they kind of farted when it came to backfilling David Edwards. Dolphins, Malik Willis, Jalen Waddle, 2 good decisions. Put them together. It's bleach and ammonia. Bleach is good at what it does. Ammonia is good at what it does. Put them together, you're dead. Hired Kevin Patullo. You know what? Maybe that's a better thing instead of the akimbo shotguns. The Dolphins are huffing turpentine, standing on the bar huffing turpentine. That's what they're doing. And the Jets are just chain smoking out back. It's like, you're gonna die, but yeah, that was better. That was better than the guns and putting a cigarette out on yourself. I got a brain and I don't like it. Hired Kevin Patullo, hired Jeff Hafley. I know Kevin Patullo sucks. I think Jeff Hafley's a ding dong. And then for the Jets, I would have drafting Kenyon Sadiq means that Mason Taylor's probably not going to be what I think Mason Taylor could be. They signed a bunch of old guys and then they didn't fire their coach. And I think it's probably good that they didn't fire Aaron Glenn, because that means that they're going to be able to get an interim coach this year, call it a wash, and then next year they'll be able to get somebody else that's good as a head coach, but it would be a head coach of the Jets, so they'll end up doing poorly. So it's kind of just like a negative for football. Like if they would have fired Aaron Glenn this offseason and hired somebody that has fallen way low in the coaching coaching hiring circuit. There's a word for it, but I'm tired and I can't think of it. That would have just kind of been like, oh, okay, well that guy's fucked. But now they're going to take somebody who's good and then they're going to fuck him. So I would have liked for them to fuck a bad guy rather than fuck a good guy. But that's everything. That's the AFC East. That's the negatives of everything that they're going to do this year. As always, I'm right about everything. Also, as always, I don't edit this, so I probably said something stupid. I probably forgot something. If I left it out, I don't. It's not because I think that it's not important, but I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I'm a dumb guy. I'm a dumb guy, and I forget things. Sue me. Don't. Can you sue? Whatever. That is everything. Thank you guys for listening. You don't have to listen to a dumb person ramble about shit, but you do, and I appreciate it. I will be back with you later for a NFC North positives show. NFC North positive. That's gonna be a lot. That division did a lot of shit. And then they also didn't do some shit. So we'll explore all that. But thank you guys for listening. My name is Jake. I did this all in one take. I hate that rhymes. I will talk to you later.